So this is our next art lesson. This was a request made by a young man named Jacob Roberts. So Jacob, this one's for you, my brother. He got a poster that looked like this, and he didn't know how to draw it, so he wanted an actual art lesson on how to draw the poster that he has. So there are a couple of components. We got the tycoony, and then we got the big dragon, dinosaur, monster thing. So I'm going to teach you how to draw this, and then I'm going to teach you how to draw that. And I've drawn the whole thing here at the beginning so you can see how they fit on the page. And I probably won't draw it again. I'll just draw tycoony and then the big monster, and then you can put them on the page where they need to go. So that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to reset this, erase the board, and we'll come right here. We have the board. And I'm going to draw this thing fairly quickly. But it is, after all, on YouTube. And all you got to do is hit pause, and you can catch up by hitting pause, and that way I can kind of go through this fairly quickly, and you can still learn how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is the tycoony. You'll remember that he sat down here, and he was pretty small compared to the whole page, but I'm going to draw him big so that you can see what he looks like, and then when you do him, you can just put him down here where he goes. Here he comes. We're going to start with a circle, about like that. Then we're going to have a couple of triangles coming off that circle, essentially a triangle right there and a triangle right there. Now that's his nose and that's the back of his head. There's another triangle right up there, which is his ear. Alright? And I kind of, once I've done this, I'll probably make his face a little bit less circular there. He's looking up. His nose goes right there. So there's his nose. His eye, right like that. Here's his little pupil. There's his mask. Okay, so we got his nose, his eye, his ear. Kind of take that out. You can give him a little hair up here if you want. You don't have to. Okay, now his neck, just kind of keep that line going down like this. And that's his neck. Now from here, it's really a triangle. See, if I were to draw a triangle like this, that's his body, okay? His pants are the good old rectangle, just like that. His legs are another triangle, kind of an upside down triangle, coming down like this. And then his shoe, you just kind of put a little hump there, swoop down, and hump it over that way. Put a little sole on his shoe. You can put shoelaces on there if you want. And then I put the other leg right back here so you can kind of see where that is. So he's got two legs. There's his head. He doesn't have an arm yet, and we're still missing a tail. That line can go away, as can this one. And if you want, you can kind of swoop his nose up a little bit. You don't have to. That line doesn't belong either. So now we're this far. His arm just kind of hangs here. See if I can get my pen to work. Give a couple little hair marks. And there's his hand. He's just standing there staring straight up. And then his tail. Usually I have his tail kind of coming down because he's a little bit afraid of the big monster, so he's not in some really happy mood wagging his tail. He's kind of like, ooh. His whole attitude is a little bit like the tail. It is a big monster after all. And so that right there is tycoony staring straight up at the monster that will end up being above him. So I'm going to erase this tie, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I've erased tie, and we're back to the blank piece of paper in your case, erase board in my case. And I'm going to go ahead and make the monster on this about the size that the monster would be on the page, because he's a pretty big thing. You really only see his head and part of his neck. Now tycoony, I'll just show you, would be about, and my eraser is messing up, or my marker. Tycoony's about right here, about that big. You don't make him too big. And then this monster is going to be huge, way up here. So, what you do, basically, is you start with a circle. And my marker is just not doing well at all. There we go. I don't know if you can see this or not. There's the circle. You come down into a triangle, kind of like this. Okay? So we got a circle and a triangle. It really looks like almost an ice cream cone. Now this is just the basic shape. This isn't what it's going to end up like. And right about here, if I can keep from stepping on this thing, right about here on the side of this circle, I put a line like this. I'm trying to make it dark so you can see it. And then a little pupil. This is the beginning of the monster's eyes. And I kind of give him a little bit of bags under his eyes and square this off. And then I'll put some bumps or warts or whatever you want to call them up on his eyebrow. So that's what he's got so far. From here, I swoop down and just start making these bumps. Come all the way down here, and then this pointy thing at the end, and bring this smiley face up past his eye. Okay, so I just followed the shape of that triangle down here and made my little hook-it nose. There's his nostril. Then I put a chin on him, and the chin starts, it's kind of like a lip almost here at the first part of it. It's just a little hump right about there. And then a straight line, and then a big chin, kind of like, or a jawbone, almost like a horse would have. So let me get rid, I don't know if you can see this line or not, but I'll get rid of these lines here that we're not really using. Okay, so this is our monster now. There he is. Now all you got to do is finish off his head. So kind of come up around this marker. I'm going to burn when I'm done. Let's kind of bring it up this way. Okay. There's his head. And then just follow that line up and over and swoop out that side of the page. And then this is his neck coming up here. So there it is. You might want to put another line there. And if you want, you can put some horns on his head. But whatever you do, I think it's kind of cool to have scaly looking skin. And the best way to do that is just to put a little circle, and a dot, some smaller. See, hopefully you can see some of these. And you just kind of put these little circles and dots on him. Not too much, but just a little bit. And that will suggest the scales or the rough texture of his skin. So here he is staring down at what would be Tycoon standing right there. And Tycoon might come down a little bit further, like his feet might be there, his tail would be here, I guess, and he'd be staring out. There's his nose and his eyes, whatever. So he's staring up at this monster who's staring right down at him. And then I put a little line, this is the horizon line, just so you can see that they're standing on ground and not floating out in space. So there's that. And you can finish up this monster by giving him some of these, I don't know, whatever those are called. And like I said, if you want to put some horns on them, you can just put a horn right there and maybe one on the other side, like that. So now you got Tycoon and the monster. And when I draw this poster, this is my Face Your Fears poster. So here's Ty facing his fear, obviously. And I usually just write it here. And the marker is just so dead. So face your fear. Make it plural if you want. And this marker, by the way, has lots to be afraid of because I am going to burn it. It is no longer any good. So that is, for you, Mr. Jacob Roberts, the Tycoon facing the big monster dinosaur thing. Face Your Fears. Thanks for the request, and I hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.